Hey, just like I promised, I am here with my husband, and this is the Towable Backhoe. And a few people had some questions, and so they contacted me about like why we bought it and why we like it. And so I figured I would just have the guy who uses it answer the questions. So what was the point of getting this piece of machinery? I mean, besides the fact that you wanted it.
Yeah. Well, I gotta dig I had a huge stump back in the middle of the garden of it was a black walnut tree that had been cut down before we bought the property, but the stump wasn't going anywhere. Now I could have used the stump grinder, you know.
Is that part of the stump?
That is the remainder of the stump.
Okay, cool.
So that was project number one, dig that out. One that give me a couple of years to get the black walnut out of there. I can grow more there, but it also it really expanded the plowable, tillable garden area. So that was project number one, and honestly, that alone probably paid for it itself. Other than, yeah, it would have been cheaper to rent one for the weekend for one project. Project number two is I need a duck pond. You know, right now it's that kiddie pool, and for the geese, it works, but come on, it's not, you know, just because it works, you know, is not necessarily adequate for them. I see a lot of people do that, but I'd like to give them something more, you know, a better life.
Well, we want to maybe get some more later too, well, so that build an infrastructure.
Exactly. So I want to, you know, and I looked at this and I thought, oh, I could do a stock tank or something, but ultimately what I want to do is dig and do a lined pond and put some sort of filter. The ducks and the geese are incredibly messy to maybe, you know, keep the water flowing. In fact, I've bought the solar panel and all that, but that's already in the battery, and I'm ready in the pump, and I'm ready. But I got to get the hole dug first, so that's where this is, and I just haven't had time to get back to digging. I got the stump out to, you know, get my feet wet with this, or, you know, break it in, and now I'm ready to dig a duck pond, but I just need to find time.
And we'll be able to bring it to other family properties and use it there too, so that reduces the price.
That there's some, you know, we need to make some berms and some different stuff ultimately down the road. And you know, this thing's not the best backhoe out there, but it was $3,000. You know, I could have got a backhoe that goes on the back of my tractor, but you know, I think those are somewhere $10,000 to $13,000 to start. You know, it just didn't seem like I have enough quite need for it. But we had more of a need than a weekend or two.
Yeah.
You know, so it packed the rental. And I figure if I get all these projects out of it, the duck pond, the stump, you know. And
we have other stumps too.
we have some stumps in the front I wanted to dig out. You know, even if we got those done, that'll pay for the cost of it versus renting either a little mini excavator or a stump grinder or something. So, you know, I mean, it was $3,000. And, you know, and I know that I've seen other people's criticism of these. Well, for that money, why don't you just buy one of those, you know, mini excavator, Chinese mini excavators? You know, and to be honest, it is kind of attractive when you look at those. They're better than this, or what they can do could be potentially better than that. But I figured that's sort of an order and pray thing.
Yeah.
You know, you take other people's, you look at the reviews, you order, you pray, you hope you get. But if the thing comes broken, what do you do with this thing? I knew in the worst case, if this thing came broken, I could load it up into the back of my pickup truck, take it over to Harbor Freight. They're going to charge, you know, they would charge some 15% restocking fee, but there's a company behind it. I could get rid of it if the thing came and it had been total garbage. Where you know, if I ordered online, it was more, you know, if Harbor Freight sold those, I probably would have bought one of those too, because this is just some Chinese made thing too. But so
how easy was it to put together? Because a lot of people ask that, like, how hard is it to put together?
I didn't think it was that hard. It took me an afternoon.
Did it even take that long? It seemed like it took more like 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, maybe 3 or 4
I guess that
hours.
Is an afternoon.
Yeah. I did 90% of it by myself. I had you come out and help with lift, like, you know, to connect two things. But to be fair, I also have forks on on the tractor, and so I did do most of the lifting with that. But if there were two people, two able people, and you had a jack, that's what they recommend. You know, you get one of the Harbor Freight, you know, jacks, not, you know, the cheap ones, but a good hydraulic jack or something. You could do it. Two people could do this in the 3-4 hours, quite honestly. The only thing there were two issues. One, that was why I needed you. I don't know, there was something with the going, which part you connect first for the
when we were lining up the scooper thingy.
And I had read that online, you know, or seen a video, someone said, oh, we did it the backward, and I don't remember which way now. And I said to myself, oh, don't get caught by that. And then I did. And that's why I needed you. The other thing was all of these coupling, you know, the hydraulic lines to the controls here. Like half of them were already connected, and then half you had to connect yourself. And the ones you know, so I connected them all, and at some point I went, oh, I should tighten the ones that were pre-connected, and I went back and I missed one, obviously, and I know, you know, it was this one here, and I was using it back in the field, you know, and all of a sudden I went, oh, what in the hell's going on here? There's a, you know, hydraulic fluid all over. Shut it down, realized quickly where it was from, got a wrench, tightened it, said, shame on me, I should have done that before, you know. Fired it back up, checked. I had to add a little more hydraulic fluid, check the levels again and stuff, but then it was done.
All right, so would you buy it again?
Oh, in a heartbeat, you know.
Okay.
I mean, so far what we've had it a month or so, we've only used it for the one project. So far I've been more than happy with it. It's a bit awkward to transition it from towable mode to diggable mode. It's in diggable mode right now. In towable mode, the wheels go to the front here, and of course then you tow it off the back. Having the tractor, it makes it a whole lot easier to do that, but you could do it with the jack and whatnot. But when it's in this mode, the diggable mode, you can actually, I moved it from way back in the back, you know, up to here. It's slow going, and you just kind of pull you lift yourself up.
Oh, I'll get a video of you doing that sometime.
I wouldn't do it all, you know, if you had like a good driveway or something, you know, you could scuff it up. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't, but if you're just going through the field, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'd buy it again. It's fine. It's slow. You know, I haven't done a lot with hydraulics. We have our John Deere. The hydraulics are much faster on that, but the power's good enough on this, and they're awkward. You know, each one is one, you know, is two actions, as opposed to there's no left, right, or anything where normally, you know, you would expect that. But when you get used to them, you know, once you get going and you get used to it, I didn't find it hard to use at all.
Okay, cool.
So we can get a video later of us digging, you know. And this was the, you know, I have the hydraulics on the tractor, but you know, the John Deere dealer has done most of that. This was my first time really dealing with hydraulics in the sense, but it's, you know, like there's nothing to it.
All right, cool.
So
I think that answered all the questions people asked, so thank you.
All righty.